I'm going to call to order the Operations Committee meeting for this evening on October 8th, 2024. I am the acting chairperson this evening as Elgin Bailey is excused. And sitting in on the committee this evening is Liren Yacco and Steve Wilson. So seeing that, we have a quorum. We also have our non-voting members of Tracy Parker and Nicole Roten. Thank you for joining us. And we have the other members of the board sitting in, Donna Rowland and Robin Seagreaves, who can offer comments on any items of the agenda after the committee members do. So with that, I will call the meeting to order. Our first item is the approval of the minutes for the September 10th, 2024 Operations Committee meeting. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections on the minutes? Okay. Seeing none, the minutes will be approved and placed on file. We will then move to the public presentation for tonight, which is a master facility planning update from Schrader Group and ICS. So I see our gentleman here in the audience.
Good evening, all. My name is Devin Bradbury with Schrader Group. I have Matt Kelly here with ICS as well. We only have about 200 slides to go through, so I hope you have some time tonight. Just kidding. So we have just a quick update on all of our projects that we're working with you all on. So I will hand it over to Matt to discuss some updates. Obviously, the projects we currently have in process are Kings Highway, which is still in design. We have North Brandywine Middle School. The addition is getting ready to kick off, along with Reeseville. And then we have Scott Middle School is still in design. You've had some construction projects already. We're still pushing through the design process for the rest of the project. And then South Brandywine. So the site is cleaned up and the building is demolished, and we are ready to move on construction. So Matt has some good news on what we've just received last week as far as bids go. So I'll pass it over to Matt to talk about the projects.
Thanks, Devin. So Reeseville addition is the first one up. Make sure I got this going. There we go. And last time we met, we talked about the bids being brought in. They were awarded in the last board meeting under budget, which is awesome. We have got notice to proceed. So we got the contractors on board, contract signed. So that's all moving forward. We're waiting building permits. That's kind of the next step before we really start getting going on the construction. We do have construction fencing up, which is good. So we're mobilized on site with our site superintendent. We also have met with the school staff just to let them know what we've been doing, what's going to happen over the next year, kind of answer any of their questions. And so forth. There was some water line work that we were doing. We did get permits for that, which is great. We are waiting for some the aqua utility approvals to really get started on that. So that will be coming up soon. So things really starting out there. There's some recent pictures of the construction fence out there. You can see that on the side of the facility. Also in the back there, the one on the left is where where our trucks and deliveries will come in, and then the back where the addition will be. Next up is the North Brandywine School right next to Reeseville there. Same situation. We were able to get bids in under budget, which is great. That was awarded last board meeting, and then notice to proceed, same kind of time frame as Reeseville, really. We have people on site, construction fence going up. This one was a little different with the utility. We had some gas relocations, and that has started. The permits received. We're just testing the gas at this point. Few pictures here. So you can see the new gas on the roof, and then some of the construction fence that's gone up in the back there. Next project is Scott Middle School. We've discussed this a few times throughout. Oh, yeah, sorry. I got full screen here. See if I have to start over. Thank you. So Scott Middle School, this is a project where Siemens was working to do the HVAC replacement. That is complete inside the building. They also have chiller, let me move to the next one, chiller updates or chiller replacement, excuse me. So it's going from indoor to outdoor, so those have been set. We are doing commissioning and some startup on some of the units. And the roofing is also one of the items that was happening this summer. There was flat roof, right, roughly 30–40% of that was supposed to be done this summer, the rest next summer. So that flat roof has been completed. There are a few other areas we're planning on doing over the next month, just to close some of those in and get ahead of next summer as well. As far as the design updates, there are the finishes. We are working on that design. We are looking at going out to bid in November and seeking approval for January approval. The majority of that work will happen in the summer of '25. And here's a few pictures. The one on the left there, the new corridor. That was updated with the ceilings. You can see where we had, the middle one is where there was slate roof. Now we've gone with shingle roof, brand new there. And then you see the outdoor chillers there on the right. South Brandywine Middle School, demo is complete. So as you can see with these pictures, building is gone. It's down to the slab. The next phase, we'll remove the rest of that slab and start working on the new elementary school. So, and Devin took some of my thunder here, but the budget or the bids came in well under, which is great news. We had good turnout from all the contractors, and the next step is to get the board approval at the 10/22 meeting. So it's great news all around for the projects that we're working on here. We also are going to have our groundbreaking on October 23rd at 4 p.m. on site. So hopefully we have a good turnout for that. That's going to be exciting. And then the resolution we reached on the sewer connection. We are going to be doing connecting to the public sewer and working with the DEP and the township to make that happen along with the sewer authority. Next meeting's coming up. We did have a planning commission meeting yesterday. We got approval to move to the Board of Supervisors meeting, which is just the next step to moving on to start this building. So, and then our Board of Supervisors meeting on 10/22, which is great. Next project is the Kings Highway Elementary School. This is really getting into the design, and that's been underway. We are going to have 100% construction documents in February next year for April approval. So as you can see, a lot going on in the district here, and a lot of good things that we're progressing with and making good progress on. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I do have a question. I noticed that the approvals that you're looking for the new elementary school are happening at the October 22nd meeting, but that's the same night that you noted the East Battlefield Supervisors meeting.
Yes.
Will there be somebody here if we have any questions that evening on the
Yes, we'll split up. We'll divide and conquer to make sure there's someone to answer questions. Sure.
That is wonderful and much appreciated. Are there any members of the committee, either voting or non-voting, who have any questions for Schrader and ICS? Any other board members have any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate the update.
Thank you.
I just want to say that, it's very encouraging to see that we've been, budgeting at a level that is consistent with the bids coming in. And in fact, the bids have been coming in below budget. I know in the past, when we've had construction projects in this district, that's not always been the case. So it's really nice to see responsible budgeting that is, pretty good predictor of the amount of money that we need to actually complete the project. Okay, I'm going to move on to our agenda items. Okay, sorry, my computer's being weird. Yeah, is yours being weird too? Okay. Yeah, I need to see the agenda. Sure, thank you. Get to the. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, after I flip to the page. Okay. Hopefully it'll keep going, or I will grab that from you again. All right, agenda item A, Martin Tree Service cash tree removal. That the Board of School Directors approve the proposal from Martin Tree Service for the removal of 2 well-marked trees, haul logs off, and grind 2 stumps at the senior high school for a total cost of $4,800 as presented. I apologize, I usually come with better information, but I was out of the country. So I'm gonna ask questions. I'm just curious, I know that there's been a lot of issues with insect damage on trees in this local area. Are these trees being taken down because of something like that, to protect them from falling down, or are they in the way for something? Do we know?
So on the entrance to the main campus on the right, the first tree was severely damaged during the storm we had.
Got it.
And you could see it, it's split. We did take care of the most dangerous ones, but they did recommend taking that tree down. And a little farther in, there's another tree it looks like insect and a lot of damage over the years. So they were the 2 most dangerous ones in that section. And hopefully in the spring, we could replant other trees to replace those.
So this is almost like a hangover from the other storm cleanup items that we had, that this one was not an emergency one, but one that was recommended after the fact.
We're trying to avoid future damage coming
Yeah.
down in the middle of the night, because
Absolutely.
the branches are pretty long and hanging over, especially the one first tree.
Great,
So,
thank you.
yes.
Any other questions or comments on this item from committee members? Any questions or comments from the other board members? Okay, seeing none. All in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this will be so moved. Moving on to item B, infrastructure Canvas LMS cloud subscription. Yep, I'm gonna need to look at it. It's just taking forever. We'll just put it between us. Thank you. That the Board of School Directors approve the proposal from Infrastructure Canvas LMS Cloud subscription for special education iPads and apps for a total cost of $42,599.57 as presented. Thank you. Appreciate that. Are there any questions or comments from the committee members on this item? Is this separate from what we were doing with ESSER's funds for iPads? I got that impression looking at the agenda, but I just wasn't sure.
I'd be glad to answer. So the IU has been managing our special ed iPads. Our iPad initiative here in the district is magnitude. Part of the changeover from the IU to us hosting management of these iPads is the change in ownership of the very expensive applications that are put on those specific iPads. So in lieu of time to keep our iPad initiative moving here, we're going to stick with the IU through this year as we transition all of those applications to ownership to the district.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions or comments from committee members?
We're on B, right?
Yes.
The cloud.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
Yep.
You asked questions about I was confused. That was just, sorry, because we have
It
Board
was
Docs
the
down,
cloud
so-
subscription for special education iPads and
Oh,
apps.
now it's up. We're good.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, it's taking forever. Any questions from other board members on this item? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
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 Yes. Okay. We move on to CCIU, the iPad service agreement, which I think is the one that you were giving some context on, but it sounds like they are related. That the Board of School Directors approve the agreements CCIU to provide iPad management services for the district's special education iPads for the 2024-2025 school year at a cost of $245 per iPad annually as presented. Any questions or comments on this item from committee members? I will note that there's an existing 40 devices, so that's a total cost of $9,800. Okay. Any questions or comments from other board members? All in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
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 Okay, it
Yes.
is so moved. We move on to item D, Verizon CASD transfer cell service. That the Board of School Directors approve the proposal from Verizon for district-wide cellular service and equipment at a monthly cost of $40 per line as presented. Any questions or comments from the committee members on this item? I was just wondering, in some cases I do get a full cost, but is this not providing a full cost because the number of devices changes over the course of the year?
So getting a handle on the cellular service that we use in the district with our current vendor, it's been challenging on a couple different fronts. So I explored doing some zero usage reports, how many phones we have, how many are used, how many are not used. Some were not used during the summertime, others were used. So this is for currently 80 phones. I couldn't put everything in the motion. It would be a little hard to put it all, but it is for 80 phones. It includes the phones for free, the cases for free, and a $150 activation fee per unit for free. It's up to 80 right now. We currently have 97 lines, but I have 74 that I've identified that we're using. So 97 with our current vendor. Through the reports, I'm down to 74. I want to make sure we're not missing anyone, and we're not obligated to go to 80, and they need to be changed one by one. Also, the additional cost savings that I couldn't express there, and I'm glad we have this time to talk, is about $20,000 per year just on the service alone, not including the free phones, the free cases, or the free activation fee. So Verizon's really working with us diligently for that service, as well as looking at areas in the district that have problems with wireless service, like Rainbow and their internal antenna system. So it includes 80 phones, $40 per line, rated at 80, and about 38,400 per year instead of 58,000 per year.
That's fantastic. I'm also glad that we have this time to talk about that. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from other board members?
Just one. Do you know how Verizon is at all of the different locations? Like in my area where I live, I have zero Verizon service.
So they've actually done a scan and a map of the whole area where they have 3G, 4G, and 5G and LTE, 4G LTE, and they're probably one of the better vendors. Our current T-Mobile doesn't seem to fare well on the cell service nor the customer service.
Were we with T-Mobile as part of the grant in the past?
I'm not sure. The district previously had Verizon. So for some reason, they switched to T-Mobile. We have two different accounts with T-Mobile. One is our cell service, and another one is 1,500 hotspots that were funded through the ECF grant, which I'm working on getting some reimbursement from them for units that weren't used that we were billed for.
Okay, that's why I was wondering, was there any conflict with moving, or is because that grant is now
So we're gonna-
over, we can move?
So the grant did end. I did notify them that we were going to stop using the grant, and they continued to bill us beyond the acceptable period, about $136,000. I'm down to about $100,000, and I expect to hear from them later this week. So we're leaving the approximately 67 hotspots that students have today with students, because that's a big transition to meet with each of those students and exchange a Verizon hotspot to a T-Mobile hotspot. Changing that equipment is a pretty big undertaking, something we can do at the end of the school year, make sure that they have time to get through the year and use the functional internet that they have. And Verizon does have the cheaper plan as well for our community.
Thank you, Director Seagreaves. Any other questions from other board members? Okay, great. Okay, all in favor of moving this item to the full board agenda, please say yes.
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 We move on to letter E, Excel elevator and escalator, new travel cable at Benner Building. That the Board of School Directors approve the proposal from Excel elevator and escalator for the installation of a new travel cable to accommodate the card reader system at the Benner Building for a total cost of $15,965 as presented. This, I believe, is related to us moving the Cyber Academy to the Benner Building because we needed to install security there.
Correct. We have a lot of different vendors that are within that building, so to make the cyber program more secure, you would use your identification badge as a CASD employee, and only those people can get onto that floor.
Perfect. Love that we are making sure that our students who come into that location are secure. Any other questions from committee members? Okay, any questions or comments from other board members? Seeing none, all in favor of moving this item to the full board agenda, please say yes.
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 This item is so moved. We have no informational items, no old business. Any new business? Okay. Public comment. Okay, we have no one signed up for public comment. So our next meeting of the Operations Committee will be on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. And with that, the Operations Committee meeting is adjourned at 6:23 p.m. We will now move to the Education Committee meeting. Do you have a hard copy? Okay, cool.
Good evening and welcome to the Education Committee on Tuesday, October the 8th of 2024. I note the presence of committee members Donna Rowland, myself, and Mr. Steve Wilson, and absent from committee this evening is Mr. Bailey. We also have Hannah Capture and Amy Brown, and our non-voting members, and then the rest of the board members here to comment after the committee has a chance, Ms. Director Muirhead, Ms. Yako. And at this time, we do have a quorum. We'll move forward. Touched it. That's what happened. Okay. The first item is the approval of the minutes. Does anyone on the committee have any changes or additions or deletions on the approval of minutes? Being none, we'll move those minutes forward for final approval. I can't remember, or do we just approve them? They're approved because of the committee meeting minutes. Yep, got it. The next one would be, yep, I got it. I'm okay. Item number A, item letter A, I should say. We don't have any presentations either. BIATA contracting for student nursing services and rider agreement. That the Board of School Directors approve the BIATA contract and rider to agreement. What's the matter? Oh, yeah, my computer's not working really at all. For student nursing services pertaining to Alyssa S. Okay, and that's a nurse that we are contracting with, and we need those. So does anyone have any comments or questions, concerns on the committee? Seeing none. Anyone on the full board? No? Okay, if you'd like to move this forward on the committee, please say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. That will move forward to the next meeting for final approval. The next item is B, Elwyn Davidson School, that the Board of School Directors approve the Elwyn Davidson School 24-25 private school student placement agreements for 2 students. Those students' identification are confidential. So I will ask if anyone, has any, am I to wait? Are you guys okay? Okay. Can we move this forward? Does anyone on the committee object to moving these forward? No. I'm sorry. We're all right. We're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do we agree to move those forward? Please say yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. C, the Vanguard School, 2024-25 enrollment, that the Board of School Directors approve the Vanguard School Enrollment Vocational Immersion Program and ESY agreements. And again, these are confidential student identification. So does everyone on the committee agree to move these forward?
Yes.
Say yes. Thank you. So moved. D, the Navigate 360 contract. That the Board of School Directors approve Navigate 360 Compass students, Compass behavior intervention, and Compass services support contract. Does anyone on the committee have any questions or concerns regarding this item, or any questions? Seeing none, anyone on the rest of the board? No? Okay. If you would like to move this forward on the committee, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And so moved. And then we move to a E, which is a confidential settlement agreement. There would be no discussion here because it's confidential. So does the committee, if you would like to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Letter F, addendum, that the School Board of School Directors approve the addendum A3, 2024-25 SY student enrollment as a supplement to an enrollment program with Valley Forge Educational Services. And again, that's confidential. I apologize, I think I read the wrong part. Anyway. Please, committee members, if you agree to move this forward, say yes.
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 Yes. G, N2I quote for learning system. I had some notes, but my computer is not working, so I apologize. That the School Board of School Directors approve the purchase of N2I learning system for special education as presented. Does anyone here have any questions, comments, or concerns on the committee? No? Anyone on the full board? Seeing none, if you agree to move this forward, please say yes.
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 Yes. And then that comes with professional learning to be able to implement it. So we have the letter H, which is the Board of School Directors approve the payment for professional development for special ed department by N2Y as presented. Does anyone on the committee have questions about this item? No? Anyone on the full board? No? If you would like to move this forward on the committee, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Letter I, the CCIU Title I agreement, that the school board directors approve. Title I agreement as presented. And does anyone here have comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, anyone on the full board? Seeing none, if you'd like to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And J, CCIU Title II agreement. That the Board of School Directors approve the, nope. The title, what the heck? 2A, is that correct? That's a typo. Thank you. Between the CCIU and CASD as presented. Does anyone have any comments, questions, concerns on the committee? Seeing none, anyone on the full board?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask what the CCIU is doing in, for these grants. I'm just curious.
I will ask Dr. Rubarczyk to come and explain.
So for Title I and Title II are the non-public schools that are eligible for funding. The CCIU works as a consortium to provide their services. So they deliver instruction for the students, and they provide professional learning for those organizations. So we're really just a pass-through for the funding coming out of Title I and Title II.
Thank you. Anyone else on the board have questions or comments? Seeing none, if the committee agrees to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Donna?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that.
Thank you. And that's so moved. And then we're off to K, I believe, the field trip. That the Board of School Directors approve the AFJROTC field trip as presented. Does anyone have questions or concerns about the field trip? Seeing none, anyone on the full board? No, I love giving them these opportunities. So if anyone on the committee would like to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And now L, that the Board of School Directors approve the field experience internship for Hannah Kaptor with Maria Stauffer as her mentor as presented. She'll do her field experience internship as part of the requirements for her PA K-12 principal and curriculum and supervisory certifications. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns on the committee? Seeing none? Yes? Yes.
There we go. I just want to say I'm really looking forward to this opportunity, so thank you for your consideration.
Absolutely, thank you. And does anyone on the full board have any questions, comments, or concerns? Nope. All right, if the committee would like to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Good luck. And then we have M, a book disposal. That the Board of School Directors approve the disposal of damaged books from multiple elementary schools as presented. And these are all heavily damaged, unfortunately, from Reeseville, Callan, East Fallowfield, Rainbow, and Kings Highway. And they've already been replaced by the company, so we do need to dispose of them per board policy. Does anyone on the committee have questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, anyone on the full board have comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, if you'd like to move this forward, please say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, now, we do have a little tiny presentation about N. Thank you, Michelle Snyder is going to just say a little bit about this because I think it's a really important program that we want to introduce, and it's the Board of School Directors approved the service agreement between Cara Solis and the CASD, and so she's going to show a little presentation about what that is.
So before I do that, I just wanted to say that Cara Solis was.
Is your mic on?
Let me start again. So good evening, everyone. Cara Solis was brought to us through a non-competitive grant for mental health. So this service is no cost to the district, and it's rather timely with some of the rumors that I'm hearing that child guidance is going to close in the community, which is very troubling. So what Care Solace is essentially is, it's a company that provides mental health services, and they do so by breaking down barriers. So they match up families based on need, insurance opportunities, and they provide mental health services and drug and alcohol rehabilitation services and a variety of things to staff, students, community, and they do it in a variety of ways. Like if you want telehealth, you can have that. If you want Zoom, you can have that. If you want in-person, and they take every opportunity to find the best fit for their client. So I'll show you a quick video because this does it much better than I can. And then if you have any other, oh, and I will say this, I did find out, Robin, that they are in 35 school districts across the state. The closest to us is Norristown. They're in Ridley, Bensalem, one other that I can't remember, and then mostly in the Harrisburg area and some out in the Pittsburgh area as well. So that was one of the questions you asked.
Calling to make an appointment for my daughter.
But 2 months is too far for me and for her.
It's not covered with my insurance.
Please, can you check whether there is another date?
Yeah, sure, I'll hold.
It all started really as a kid, and then through high school is when I felt this hidden insecurity. And as a result, I never really found a purpose. In 2012, I hit the absolute worst bottom somebody can hit. I was extremely depressed, miserable, suicidal. I was using and abusing drugs and alcohol extensively, daily, to feel better in my own head. Spiraled down, became homeless.
I don't think I'll ever forget that day and that experience because of how traumatic it was. The anxiety, the sadness, the grief, it started affecting my everyday life. Then I knew that I couldn't do it alone.
I work for a big insurance company, and I couldn't even get the help that my girls needed.
When you're a case manager or in a support role, a lot of times you're left to give them a list or tell them to call the number on the back of their insurance and hope for the best, but the individual doesn't have the right skills or tools to navigate the system.
When I had completed my rehabilitation program and get my life turned around, I've reflected on all those people that helped me along the path, and if they help me, then perhaps I need to pass that on to others that are dealing with the same thing. How do we help all those that are currently searching for help, trying to navigate the chaos my family went through, that I went through, in trying to find the right services? What are they doing? How can I be a hand to them, is what was seated within me to do something about that.
I'm going to help you find a mental health provider. I just need to ask a few questions so that we can start the process and find a good resource.
School district staff are taxed, overwhelmed more than ever before. They need a service and a partner that takes this heavy lift of being a liaison between parents, students, insurance, who's available, who's not, community resources. We do all of that for them and fill that gap. We are an empathetic ear, a hand to hold, a champion. Any family that's wondering what to do right now, where to go, how to start the process, who takes their insurance, we are the go-to service to find them that access that they need and get their lives turned around.
He got back to me in less than an hour and had me on the phone making appointments for both of my girls. I just knew then that this was the help my girls needed.
my therapist that I still see now. She got me to find the real reasons behind my problems, behind my trauma, behind my anxieties. The reason that I'm so thankful for Care Solace is for bringing my smile back.
This number changed my family, changed my girls. They did it for me. They walked me through this.
How can we take away the barriers, take away the handcuffs from somebody that's prevented them from being the best they can be? A service like ours starts that process. If we can link them to a professional that can remove these barriers and remove these handcuffs from their lives, it gives them a chance to blossom. It gives them a chance to find that purpose that they're searching for.
Can I answer any questions? Yes.
Definitely mental illness is an issue, not just in the school, but in the community. But I'm just curious, how does is it the nurse, the teachers, how do we connect this information to the families, to the students?
So it would go on our website, and they would be able to access it through there, but in addition, the guidance counselors can work directly with the Care Solace representatives with a release of information, and typically that's how the support gets to the families that is needed. And then the guidance counselors can communicate back and forth with the counselors.
It would be nice too, because we do find that problem of communication, that definitely ones who really need that information don't typically go to the website.
Right.
So if we can think of another way to get that information out to them, we could even work with some of our stakeholders in the community as well. Because I know how it is to stay on the phone and not get an answer.
Right.
So,
And waiting list after
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
list.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
So if we could do that, I mean, I think this is great, but we definitely need to reach out to the stakeholders to help out to get that information.
Thank you.
And can you clarify, when you said it's available for, the community as well, can anyone use this service?
I mean the community, our school community.
Okay, I just want
Yes,
to
our school community.
be very clear on that.
Yes,
Okay.
our school community.
Thank you.
I did have a question as well. I know the contract stipulates that there will be training for guidance and those directly involved with mental health. But is there any plan to make other staff in the district aware of this? Because I know a lot of times the first person a family comes to about a need is not always one of those mental health professionals, but that other people would know that this exists and to refer to guidance to discuss this further?
Yes, this would be something that, once the guidance counselors were trained, then we would roll it out as part of our resources in mental health, so the teachers would find out about it as well. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from anyone else on the board?
When is the date after we go to our next meeting?
Yes, they're ready. As soon as we sign the contracts, they're ready to get started, and we'll work on, getting that training done and rolling it out.
I just wanted to say, I know that for me, navigating getting access to mental health services has been incredibly difficult. And so I can only imagine for people who have less time, may have more complicated insurance situations, it's incredibly difficult for them as well. So I'm really thrilled to know that we are finding a way to help them get connected to someone who can be their ally in connecting them to the services that they need. We know that a lot of the students in our district have experienced trauma. We know that there is a mental health crisis, particularly in the youth of this generation. And so I just applaud you for finding this resource. It sounds like, a really great tool to help connect our kids to the support that they need.
Thank you.
And just one final question, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Where?
It talked a lot about connecting them and finding the right resource with their insurance. What if a person has no insurance?
Same thing. They would work with the consumer even if they did not have insurance. And that's one of the things that they do is they base it completely on client, and no insurance is not a barrier. Because I asked that question of the rep as well.
Great, thank you.
Quick question. I heard you say tele as well as Zoom. Is it in person as well? Do they have
Yes.
representatives in the area?
Yes, they have mental health professionals that they work with in the area as well. So if you wanted to do in person, you could do that. Families have the option, maybe they just need some advice or some on-the-minute help, and they can do that as well. So it's really client-friendly, so they try and base it on what the client needs.
And do they have bilingual opportunities?
Yes, they do.
Okay, are there any other questions? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, if the committee would like to move that forward, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, then we have O, the overnight trip, that the Board of School Directors approved the overnight out-of-state field trip for the ski club as presented. Does anyone on the committee have any questions, concerns, or comment?
Where's the trip to?
I don't think we give that, that's confidential.
Oh, that's confidential?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all
We don't
right.
want to tell everyone where our kids will be.
Okay, it's probably okay. no
Yeah.
problem. That's fine.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions, concerns? Anyone else on the board? No? If we'd like to move that forward, please say yes.
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 Oh, I see it. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
All right, we're getting there. P, okay. Letter P, that the Board of School Directors approve the Twig Education Science Pilot Program for K through 8th as presented. And that contract would be 11/4 through 1/13. Does anyone here have any questions, comments, or concerns on the committee? Seeing none, anyone on the full board? No. If you'd like to move this forward on the committee, please say yes.
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 Yes. Q. The Board of School Directors approved the overnight out-of-state trip for a tournament as presented for the boys' basketball team. Does anyone have any comments, questions, concerns on the committee? Seeing none, anyone on the full board? No. If you'd like to move this forward on the committee, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think we did it. So at this time, there is some informational items. Enrollment report as of September 30th of 2024 is here. I thought there was a couple more. There was Esser's, no? No, not. Oh, that's on finance, I'm sorry. I'm stealing your agenda, Liz. So at this time, is there any old business or new business? No? Any public comment? No? And so the next meeting is Tuesday, November the 12th for the Education Committee, and I will adjourn at 6:48 p.m. Thank you.
All right, Finance Committee is next. Okay, I will call I'm sorry. Which one of you is sitting in? Okay. Okay, thank you. I will call the Finance Committee meeting to order. On the committee this evening, I am Chairperson Liz Muirhead. Shauna Maxwell is excused. We have committee member Robin Seagreaves, and Liren Yako is sitting in, so we do have a quorum. We also have Jeff Boyer joining us as a non-voting committee member. Thank you, Jeff. The board members not on the committee this evening are Director Wilson and Director Rowland. With that, we will move forward with the approval of the minutes. We have the minutes for September 10th, 2024 Finance Committee meeting. Are there any corrections, amendments, or questions about the minutes? Okay, seeing none, if there is no opposition, we will approve the minutes and put them on file. Okay, the minutes are so approved. Moving on to agenda items. The first item of business are the financial statements, which include the bills list, the expenditure report, and the revenue report. Any questions or comments from the committee members on these items? I will just note, although it is a very small amount, that I do continue to see something on the bills payable list for Live-In Legal Group. I know that there are still some hangover legal items that they were handling from before we changed our solicitor, but I also know that the community is interested in moving on and not having them receive tax dollars anymore. So hopefully we can wrap up whatever they're involved in and not have them on the bills payable list in the future. Anybody else on the committee have comments or questions about this item? Okay, any other board members have questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, those on the committee in favor of moving the item A to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay. It is so moved. We'll move on to item B, the 2025-2026 budget calendar. That the Board of School Directors approve the budget calendar for use in the 2025-2026 budget planning process as presented. I wonder, Lori, did you want to make some comments to give context to the community about this?
Yeah, so every year PD releases the Act 1 timeline, kind of guides us in our budget process, and then we take that information and just kind of condense it down to our planned budget calendar, which is added there, and then also we share the adjusted Act 1 index for the school district. So this year the Act 1 index is 4%, but for the school district the adjusted Act 1 index is 5.1. So that allows us, if we need to, we can raise taxes up to the 5.1%. Obviously that's not anything that we're looking at doing. We still have a long process in the budget calendar, but that's usually what this allows us to do, just kind of get the calendar out there, get it in front of you guys just to anticipate when you'll see some data coming from on the Finance Committee.
And I'm just going to repeat what you said. Although the adjusted Act 1 index is 5.1%, we obviously don't plan to raise taxes by that amount.
That is correct.
Just repeating it. So don't get hate mail. Okay. Any other questions or comments from committee members on this item? Any questions or comments from other board members on this item? Seeing none, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is so moved. We move on to item C, the 2025 PSBA slate of candidates. I'm not going to read all of this, but this is that the Board of School Directors approve the 2025 PSBA slate of candidates as presented. There's a lot of information on the agenda about the officer elections. They were reviewed by the 2024 nominating committee. Candidates meet eligibility requirements. They were interviewed by the nominating committee, and the nominating committee can endorse the slated candidates. You can look at the document and see that the candidates have been endorsed by the committee after that process was completed. Any questions or comments from the committee members on this item? Any questions or comments from the full board? Seeing none, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is so moved. We move on to letter D, Business Office Out-of-District Training Request. That the Board of School Directors approve a request from Lori Diefenberger, Business Administrator, Kathy Lark, Accounting Supervisor, and Joanne Frank, Purchasing Coordinator, to attend the Pennsylvania Association of School Business Officials Annual Conference at the Hershey Lodge in Hershey, PA, March 11th through 14th at an estimated cost of $2,900 as presented. What? Are there any questions or comments from the committee members on this agenda item? Definitely think it is a good thing to encourage the professional development of our business team. Any questions or comments from other board members on this item? Okay. All committee members in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
It is so moved. Moving on to item E, Power School applicant tracking renewal. That the Board of School Directors approve the license and subscription fees from Power School for the renewal of its applicant tracking recruiting web-based program at a total cost of $6,472.82 for the term of July 1st this year through July 31st next year. So actually a 13-month period. The district uses the program to recruit candidates for open positions as presented. So this is something that we talked about last year when we implemented this program, and it is just being renewed. It's important for our HR program. Any questions or comments from committee members on this item? Any questions or comments from the full board? Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, this will be moved to the full board agenda. Moving on to letter F, frontline time and attendance. This actually doesn't have a written verbiage, but this is a quote for Coatesville Touch Points clock quote, and this is a time clock. Okay.
Yes, I can help with this one.
Thank you.
This is a new system that we're looking at for contracted employees or hourly employees as more of an accurate way to track, when they come in and come out, so that we're accurately paying bills, especially coming from outside vendors. So yes, this is a new system for better tracking of that.
Thank you very much. I'm curious, what was the motivation behind changing to this system, and what other, how did you decide to engage Touchpoint and frontline education?
In the district, for our hourly employees, we literally have punch clocks.
Oh, we're like old school. Yeah. Wait,
And then-
make that noise again.
And then the papers are collected, and they're given to the business office, and they sort through them.
So it's manual.
Correct. And then with regard to our contractors, they're to sign in at the schools, and sometimes they're not signing in, or they're signing in and leaving and coming back. And so we wanted to have accountability for those contractors and for those hourly employees, be able to have some kind of a system where they could use their badge to clock in and out. We would then have record of it. It would be in an electronic database, and then payroll would have more malleability with that information, as well as it would tie into our frontline system, which is where employees call off, so it automatically populates in the time clock if somebody is off. So it kind of takes all that guesswork out and streamlines the process. We did look at Power School as a competitor, but they were much more expensive when it came to all of these pieces and parts.
Great. Thank you for that additional context. Any other questions or comments from committee members? Any questions or comments from other board members? All in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. And item G is related to the former item, right? So we need to approve both of these in order for this to go into place. So that the Board of School Directors approve the contract with Touchpoint badge scanner clock system. It is currently, I think this one is $20,705, et cetera. So since we've already received the description of the other one, I don't think we need to discuss this, but does anybody have any additional questions? Any other board members? All in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It is so moved. Okay. Moving through a few contract agreements for the graduation ceremony, I will take items H and I together. Letter H, that the Board of School Directors approve the quote from Bowder Audio Systems for the rental of keyboard and related parts for the 2025 graduation ceremony at a total cost of $516. And the collective event group rental agreement for graduation ceremony, the rental of 1,200 folding chairs at a total cost of $6,877 for the Coatesville Area Senior High School, as well as the Chester County Technical College High School as presented, and TCHS has agreed to share half of the rental cost. So essentially the cost for Coatesville is only $3,438.50, a very modest increase of under $70 over the prior year. So this is just us continuing to stay ahead of the game, lock these contracts in now with providers that did a very nice job for us last year. Any questions or comments from the committee members on these two items? Any questions or comments from the full board? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of moving H and I to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, they are so moved. We move on to item J, Valley Creek Productions Live Stream Services Agreement for the Class of 2025 Senior Prom. That the Board of School Directors approve the agreement with Valley Creek Productions to provide on-street live stream services for the Class of 2025 Senior Prom in the amount of $4,935 as presented. I remember correctly from when we approved this group in the spring, this is a local company?
Yes, and they did our high school graduation last year, so they would also be doing the prom.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any questions or comments from the committee on this item? Any questions or comments from other board members? All in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is so moved. Letter K, that the Board of School Directors approve the contract with Music Theater International for Coatesville Area Senior High School's production of Beetlejuice Jr. in the amount of $1,285 as presented. The only question that I have about this is, do we have the performance dates yet?
I'll check that for you. I believe we do have that weekend set aside, so I'll check that for you.
It's usually like January, right? January. Yeah. The productions at the high school are always so great. And this is a really fun show. Very popular, so it should be a lot of fun.
It is March 13th.
Ooh, all right. Later than I expected. Awesome. Okay, March 13th. Great. Any questions or comments from the committee members on this item? Any questions or comments from the full board? You laugh at me. I produced a musical where the royalties were like $13,000, so I'm just aghast at how cheap this is. All right, all in favor of moving this to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Moving on to items L, M, and N, I will take them all together as they are donations from community members and organizations. Letter L is Mr. Frederick Matz, donating wood shop supplies valued at approximately $400. Letter M is Hibernia United Methodist Church, donating K-5 school supplies for Callan Elementary School valued at approximately $150. And letter N is Reedman Toll Subaru of Exton, that has, as part of the Adopt a Classroom program, donated approximately $500 worth of classroom supplies for Coatesville Elementary School. Any questions or comments about these three items from the committee members? Any questions or comments from the full board? There is a workshop, yeah. In fact, I think we just got a bunch of the equipment serviced at last month's board meeting, we approved that. So this would be, helping us keep that program updated and working for the students, which I think is awesome. Any other questions from other board members or comments on these items? Okay. All in favor of moving these to the full board agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, letters L, N, and N are so moved to the full board agenda. That concludes our agenda items. We have 3 informational items, the account code legal fees, medical claims, and the ESSERS funding. I will note again that the legal fees, you'll see a lot of back and forth numbers where you see a positive and a negative for the same line item. These are expenses that took place from a cash perspective after July 1st, but they were attributable to the prior fiscal year, so we need to show them, but we need to also move them off the books from an accounting perspective. So hopefully nobody gets confused by that. It's very standard practice. We have no old business. Is there any new business? Any public comment for tonight? Then our next meeting of the Finance Committee meeting will be Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. And with that, I will adjourn the Finance Committee at 7:06 p.m. Our final committee meeting tonight is the Policy Committee meeting.
Okay, hi, my name is Donna Rowland, and welcome to the Policy Committee for October the 8th, 2024. I note the presence of committee members Larry Yacco and Steve Wilson. Not present is Holly Charest and Shauna Maxwell. We have a quorum, so we will move ahead with the full meeting. I note that only the committee members are able to approve agenda moving to the full board agenda. I note the presence of non-committee board members, Robin Seagreaves, Liz Muirhead, Amy Brown, Melody Town, who are non-voting. So I call to order Operations Committee, and could I have would like to approve the minutes of the October 8th minutes. Approval of the minutes. Minutes are approved. We can move on. It's September. What's the date? Oh, excuse me. Approve the minutes from September 10th, 2024 for the Operations Committee agenda. Next item, presentations. Do we have a presentation tonight? Okay. Facilities Master Planning update. There's no presentation. Okay. Number 4, agenda item, Martin Tree Services Cat. Oh, I'm on the wrong one? Oh my God, excuse me. This is no, oh, I'm on, forgive me. You should have called me before I started going. No, I didn't. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, approval of the Policy Committee meeting minutes for September 10th, 2024. Excuse me, this is my second time doing this. All right. On the agenda items, update to the policy. A, policy 200 AR5, residency investigation, first reading. And Justin, could you speak to that?
Sure, I'll go through all 3 of them that are up there tonight,
Okay.
if that works. So the item A is recommended revisions to policy 200 AR5 residency investigations, as you noted, and that is based on an amendment to the school code, section 1302, with regard to student residency and what processes need to be completed before a student is brought forward for removal from the district's rolls. So the language that was updated within the policy, generally speaking, is directly taken from the amendment to the school code. There was also an addition at the end with a reminder that if students were remaining in the district when they shouldn't be, for example, if they don't live within the district's boundaries and they're not falling into one of certain exceptions or categories that would potentially allow them to remain in the district that could be grounds for potential criminal prosecution. So that was also added to the end of the AR as well. Should I move on?
Can we do B as well?
Sure.
Okay.
So B is just is the policy itself. Is policy 202. And what was added to policy 202 is a very short reference under the other non-resident students subsection to the revisions to policy 200 AR-5 that I just spoke about previously. That's the only update to that policy 202.
Does anyone on the committee have any comments on A or B?
Is this like the SBA recommendation?
So the AR-5, there was
School code.
that was essentially, there's requirements out of school code that we've reflected in that AR. To answer your question, no, it wasn't a specific recommendation from PSBA, but in this instance, there's only so much that there was to add because it was reflected in the updates to the law.
Right, and then 202, is that a
It's more or less a cross-reference
Okay, gotcha.
because of the subsection that it's under in that other non-resident student subsection.
Great, thank you.
If there are any other comments, can we move this to the full board approval?
Yes.
C, policy 200 children/students of military families administrative review. Justin, could I ask you?
Sure. So this is the result of a school code amendment that actually occurred last fall. There was a creation of subsection 1302.1, and this relates to children of military families. Again, this is required by the legislature in a new school code section. So this is largely based off of a PSBA model policy, and the recommendation is for this to be added potentially, I think, as an AR. Dr. Van Born, that's what we discussed. I think it might even be in addition to AR-0. It could be housed in a number of areas, but because we're moving forward with a series of 200 policies this evening, it made sense to do this at this time as well.
Does anyone from the committee have any comments, questions? Any others? Okay. All right, hearing none, we'd like to move this to full board approval.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's it. Oh, informational items. No informational items? There's no informational items, so any comments from the public? None? Oh, thank you. All right, so at 7:13, we adjourn the policy.